Hey there YouTube, what's going on? Parrish Plays here. Got an interesting one for you today, a new one for my channel. I'm just going to yap a little bit. These yapping videos seem to be doing well in the Pokemon space, so I figured I'd try my hand at one, kind of see if it sticks. So who am I? You see the title of my video, it says why I'm selling my Pokemon card collection. Is there a little bit of clickbait there? Maybe, but I am selling a lot of my collection. Not most of it, but a lot of it. So who am I? Parrish Plays, a little bit of a credibility check. I've sold over $30,000 on eBay so far this year, 500 feedback, all 100%, and same thing at TCG Player. I'm a level 4 seller there with 100% feedback. So far that's been going great for me. It's been a great year so far. I've been in the hobby since 2022, and with Pokemon doing what it's doing right now, being in this huge, we can call it a bubble, we can call it a bull market, whatever you want to call it, but now is a pretty good time to be selling over buying. At least that's my argument for today's video, and it's what I've been doing. On this channel, I'm not trying to influence you. I'm really just trying to document my journey, what's been going on, and that's exactly what I've been doing this year. Specifically, I have sold more than I've bought in the Pokemon space. So kind of what's my strategy behind that? Why am I doing this? What stuff am I selling? What stuff am I still buying? Because I'm not totally out of it. I am still buying stuff. So what am I selling? What am I buying? We'll get into it in this video. So am I just selling everything at 60% because I'm scared of, a crash that may or may not happen? No, of course not. And that's kind of why I'm selling into the strength of this market, is so that I don't have to liquidate everything at 60%. If, an emergency comes or anything like that, I can sell at my own pace, doing it my way, and getting full market price for everything. And I know people are going to say, if you're selling on eBay, they're taking their cut. Well, yeah, but usually on eBay, I'm selling things for 105, 110% of market, and that kind of helps me with offsetting some of those fees. So really, I'm probably selling everything at around 80 to 85%, on the conservative side, maybe 90% on some stuff. Conservative estimate would be 85%, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. So again, that's better than liquidating it all when I have to if an emergency comes. So I'm going to just keep selling, what I'm doing at 80, 85%, and that's going pretty well, building up some feedback. Really, that's a big thing too, is it really gets my name out there as a seller, builds that feedback up, so that if I want to sell, say, an Evolving Skies case 10 years down the road, I'm just not some random person on eBay. I've built up that feedback, and people can trust me that my stuff's legit. Another thing I've been selling is some loose packs, and you can't do that unless you've got the feedback to back that up. So feedback really just helps play into that, and now while the market's hot, things are selling so easily, so liquid. It's just a great time to keep building that seller feedback. So that's really been my goal. So my main point, am I selling everything? No, but my main goal for the year is trying to get more out of Pokemon financially than I've put in. So essentially, I want to sell more than I've put in, so that my collection that I have is all free. I love being a collector. You guys follow me everywhere. I still do master sets. I have tons of graded cards. I have a pretty big personal collection, and I want to keep that. There's some people that split it up into only business and don't have any personal collection. I'm not that type. I like to keep my personal collection what it is. I love Pokemon. I grew up with it, and I still have most of my stuff from childhood, and I want to keep that forever. So how can I do that while still being able to sleep at night, have a clear conscience? One of the ways is by selling, while the market's hot, to get that money that I've put in out of it. So I do run a little bit of a business. As I said, I've sold 30,000 on eBay, so I have to keep track of those. I keep track of all my income and expenses. I've actually tracked every dollar that I've spent on Pokemon, even if it wasn't for business related. So anything for personal collection, anything I've ripped, anything like that, everything I've put into Pokemon is kept on one spreadsheet. So my main goal is to sell more than I've put into it, so that I'm at a zero cost basis for my entire thing. If you're interested in that, let me know. I can send you sort of what I do. I just have it on a Google Sheet, but I can kind of walk you through the process of what that looks like if you're interested in keeping track of that. I think it's very important to keep track of what you spend, because it can spiral out of control very quickly. So that's my plan. I'm trying to take more money out than I've put in. Very conservative. That's kind of how I live my financial life. I'm a finance major as well, and so I've been pretty fairly conservative financially going forward, and it sets me up well for a solid financial future while still taking some risks here and there. And that's kind of another point of this. I know it's very risk adverse, but it is leaving some Pokemon in there to grow, and I still have full faith in this hobby. That's why I'm only selling probably 20 to 30% of my collection, inventory, whatever you want to call it. I'm not liquidating everything. I'm only selling a portion, and then I'm going to let the other portion grow. I still have full faith. My overall strategy has been anything that I have really in my collection that I have 2, 3, 4 of, so say booster boxes, collection boxes. I try to stay away from collection boxes, but the good ones like the ultra premium collections, if I have 2, 3, or 4 of those, I've been selling 1 or 2 here and there, so trying to sell off about half of what I had. And the thing was, when I first got in, I started buying 2 boxes, and I would open one and keep one sealed, and when my thought was when that box would go up 200%, I could sell that box at 200%, and then I have everything that I ripped open essentially for free. So when I'm looking at my collection and things have gone up 3 to 4 times over the past 3 years, 3 to 4 times for boxed or for sealed stuff, sometimes 10 times for cards, especially if you got them graded, then it kind of makes sense to sell them off now and kind of take off some of that risk that I was just talking about. And some of the big Pokemon YouTubers talk about not selling because there's nowhere else to put your money, and that's great for them because they're in a spot where they have totally paid off all their debt, their house, everything. I mean, some of the big guys have paid off literally everything with Pokemon, and that's amazing. I hope to do that someday, but at this point, only 3 years in, I'm not able to do that. But some of this money that I take off, might be able to put into a student loan. My student loans are a really low interest rate, so it kind of benefits me to keep some in Pokemon. But again, talk about risk versus reward. There is a chance that Pokemon comes down to MSRP. I know people don't want to hear it or think it can't right now with all the euphoria going on, but there is a chance that they finally get caught up on the printing and they can print things down enough that things are back to MSRP. And if you're paying $200 for a box, $250, $260, $270 for Destined Rivals now, and they finally do get under control, it comes down to MSRP, you know, you're losing $100 a box in the next, whatever, 2 years with a reprint window, what it is. So a lot of times I'm going to take that guaranteed return, and paying off a loan is a guaranteed 3% return. And sometimes that guaranteed return is good for your peace of mind, and especially setting yourself up for a financial future. Another point to that is, could Pokemon perform better? Maybe in the next year it does perform better, but there's also a chance, even if you tell me it's a 99% chance this bull run continues, 1% chance things come down, you have to acknowledge there is some chance that Pokemon prints the crap out of, even if it's not Destined Rivals, if they take it to the next first set, the Mega Evolution set, and they print it like crazy and get it down to MSRP. There is a chance that could happen. By selling now, it's guaranteeing what the price is now. And so, yes, again, it could go up in the future, but right now it is up, and I'm selling to lock in those gains that I've already accrued. So just another little bit of risk versus reward. I'm, again, very risk adverse, so I'm going to take some money off the table and let the winners kind of ride. And then for another point is that I just find selling fun. And again, it's part of building that feedback and building that reputation within the community, but also it's fun to just wheel and deal. Again, see my video from yesterday. I'm not taking every single dime out of Pokemon, putting it into student loans. A lot of it I am putting right back into Pokemon. I talked about building master sets. That's been fun. Financially, it doesn't make sense to sell a booster box and build a master set, but for me, it's fun. It keeps me engaged in the hobby. I plan to be here for the next, 10, 20 years in this hobby, so there's no reason why I wouldn't want to collect for that entire time to keep me into it. The hobby's got to be fun, and if you're only accumulating, you're never selling, it's fun to see your numbers go up for sure, but again, if you're not selling those, if you're not realizing those gains, it can be tough to realize at the end, unless you're doing a consignment service, which you can do, absolutely. For me, I just like the idea of selling it. It's really fun for me, and it makes things, it makes the hobby enjoyable. And that's really my main point. One of the biggest themes of if I keep doing these talks will be about patience in the Pokemon hobby, and it's going to take a while to build anything. So whatever you can do, the more you can do to keep yourself engaged and happy and having a good time in this hobby, the better you're going to be. I mean, today was the launch for the new Mega Evolution set on Pokemon Center, and I didn't get those drops, and that was upsetting. And I was, rightfully with everyone else, I was upset that I couldn't get it in and all that, and that might drive me away. But on the other hand, I made a sale today of some booster packs, which was nice, and then I also had a Grail card come in the mail that I had bought earlier in the week. So there were things about the hobby that keep me happy and engaged when things like buying sealed products at MSRP aren't available right now. So again, it's just a way to keep me engaged in the hobby, and that's just my thought. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you're doing. Are you selling into the strength of this market, or are you holding everything, hope it comes up? Are you waiting for any sort of weakness before you sell into it? Because that can make sense too. But again, I'm just one to try to keep selling, just to kind of keep the habit going. But again, let me know. First kind of video like this, so let me know what you thought in the comments. I appreciate you watching. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon investing content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.